Hi, my name's Gary Bonnell. Thanks for watching. This is going to be video number one in a series of videos that we're going to produce as a way of sharing some of the esoteric knowledge that has been gained over the last 4 or 5 decades. It's one of those things where putting it in a book isn't really that practical anymore. People are watching. People like to get their information in chunks, like 4 and 5 minute chunks. So that's what we're going to do. And I'd like to start out this series of videos, this being video number one, just talking immediately about what it is to be a human. And in being a human on Earth, you obviously, observably see humans as very different than other life forms. And why is that? Well, what we are is a human is a threefold mind. And let me get to that. Your physical body carries ancestral memory, carries instruction from nature, and your physical body, even though you don't see that it's evolving, it is evolving. You also have a human spirit, and that human spirit, interestingly, has been every form of life on Earth, plant and animal, actually even back before those structures. So somewhere in the distant past, millions of years ago, 2 cells came together in the swamp on Earth and decided that they could have a longer time in their expression if they joined together. When those 2 cells joined together, they created an energetic envelope. And then as the body that they created died, then the envelope continued and either recreated that same form or created a more advanced form. So 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells. And that energy kept reincarnating into different forms of life. So your spirit contains within it all of the knowledge of all of the life on Earth. Now, let's stop for a moment and say, well, what is this life on Earth thing? Well, the Earth has a spirit, a celestial deity that is the spirit that manifests all of the life on Earth. So your spirit is a manifestation of that spirit. And that we refer to that spirit in my understanding as Gaia. And Gaia is the feminine aspect, the form. And our spirit literally is the manifestation of Gaia. Then we have, and our bodies are also, but the human experience doesn't end there. We also have something that other forms of life on Earth do not have. We have a particle from the mind of Creator that we refer to as our soul. So we have our physical body, our spirit, and our soul. And as that threefold mind exists, it observes the manifestation of Gaia, body and spirit, but also the Creator can witness Gaia's creation because our soul is a particle from the mind of the Creator, of God, if you will. So these humans, what we are as humans, are really amazing. We're amazing beings. And what's even more amazing is we can forget all of this. We can be culturally trained to not even realize this. As little babies, we are aware of it, but there's no way to communicate that. We don't have the abilities yet to even speak, let alone understand completely what's going on. So unfortunately, our familial training and our cultural trainings begin to take even that away from us. So when we learn 1 + 1 = 2, we're kind of doomed to the future of being what the rest of humanity wants us to be. We're trained to please. We're trained to follow instruction. We're trained to conform. And that really keeps us from a deep understanding of what we are as these amazing beings, the ancestral memory in your body, the strategic intelligence of your evolving spirit through all of its incarnations, and your witness of the Creator to all of this as your soul. That's really an amazing expression. And it's so amazing that we can play hide and seek with it. We can forget it, hopefully only to rediscover it. And that's what I would like to do with these videos, is to help, maybe in some way help with the rediscovery of what it is exactly that you are as a human being. We have our religions, we have our superstitions, we have our ideologies and ideations. We have a lower self and a higher self, and the lower self is the grumpy, judgmental, part of us, and the higher self is the compassion and reasoning and that. So, we divide ourselves into a lower and a higher self with a lot of these concepts, and we have an inner child and an outer child, and all of that's fun and kind of gamey, and it leads us through the game of life, hopefully someday to discover the reality of who we are, either in this incarnation or in the next incarnation. Now, here's the other interesting part of this. Your eternal soul does not incarnate with the same spirit each time. And we're gonna, in the next video, we'll talk about the eternal soul and how it gets into this system, and how it then contributes to each incarnation, how many timelines it creates, how many reincarnational paths, the spirit and the body being linear and the soul being nonlinear. So the soul experiences Gaia's expression as a simultaneous reality, whereas our body and spirit see it as a linear reality, line upon line, precept upon precept type thing. So when we really get what we are, and we begin to expand our spirit, our human spirit, into soul consciousness, then we begin to make a connection to the Creator, which in esoteric terms is universal mind. And universal mind, of course, is connected to everything in creation. Your human spirit, because it's been every form of life on Earth, evolved up through every form of life on Earth, is connected to everything on Earth. To the bacteria, to the redwood, to everything. It has been everything. Your physical body retains certain messages and coding for the body and ancestral memory. So in some scientific endeavors, that's called epigenetics, how some genes are turned off and on in response to previous incarnations. So what we are as a threefold mind can be mind-blowing. When we discover, when the game of hide and seek is over and we really make the discovery of who we are, it's amazing. It's almost at a point where it's hard to relate to others who are not making the same discovery, but at the same time, there's such an enormous compassion for life, all life, from the smallest form of life to the greatest form of life. And when that happens, then you understand the story of Saint Francis of Assisi. You understand when Tesla makes the statement that my mind is a receiver, and when Einstein, talks about how if you want to think of the universe, thinks in terms of frequency and vibration. Um, when you really expand spirit awareness into soul consciousness, your life does change dramatically. It takes you out of being a culturally derived human into this universal human. In my courses in Japan, when we do a year-long course, I start the first day of the course and say to the participants, if you follow what we're going to be giving in this year, and you practice it and put it into use, you will no longer be Japanese. You will be a being on earth, an incredible being that has enormous knowledge of Gaia's manifest reality and the connection to universal mind and the connectivity to all that is. So next video is going to be about how a soul comes into this system. So thanks for watching, and I hope to make the connection again through the next video. Thanks so much.